the last time we had a conversation.
Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. Yes, I am from Punjab.
Yeah. Please,
Actually, I was.
before you start, tell me what you like about me, because I was because I was on your live stream before and I got introduced
Yeah, I think
by.
it's not just me. I think everybody likes the fact that you're so passionate about, to be on the right side of the history because we are making history as we talk. So it is important that the choices we make, and we are no more, and then there are, future generations, they look back at us and they're like, oh, okay, our children or our family, they don't hate us. They understand that we stood at the right side of the history and we spoke up for those that didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
And we are all privileged here. Like what I like to say over and over again, yes, even though we come from our own, we've all been oppressed in ways, but we still are privileged in a way that we are able to learn a different language. We're able to leave the area and then talk about it, educate ourselves in a balanced and a non-biased way, make the right sort of a judgment call about things and then talk to people and interact and learn and grow. So that is a big position of privilege.
Yeah, and just a quick one, I want to tap into your understanding of what is going on. America, as Field Marshal Asim Munir visited Washington a couple of times, and then you have the visit of the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian visiting Asim Munir. He's basically the most powerful guy in India. He's the army chief. And then you have the US playing this game of loading up tariffs against India. I thought India somehow was, like playing this game of like being befriending America for different, because they have common interest in the Indian Ocean, and a few other areas. And there was even a point that people felt that Pakistan was drifting closer to China, particularly under Imran Khan. And the fact that Pakistan is one of those countries that is key to China actualizing the One Belt One Road initiative, and a few other reasons. Tell me about that vis-a-vis the current situation between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Because ever since the Taliban came back and took over power, there's been bad blood. And I remember Pervez Musharraf stating clearly that Afghanistan is of enormous interest to Pakistan because of military strategic depth. And this was during the war in the 80s with the Soviets, and again when the Americans came in 2003. So please, if you can, touch some of these points.
Yes, I will try my best. I won't say I'm well versed in everything. I am still myself a student because the most of the work I do is linguistic oppression of indigenous communities within Pakistan, particularly Punjabis, because Asim Munir being a Punjabi himself, and everybody thinks, oh, just because a Punjabi made it to the top means everybody who's a Punjabi
Congratulations.
has the same kind of lifestyle or benefits and things. Completely
So
forgetting.
yeah. So
Yes,
sorry, you said Asim Munir is from Punjab, but where is
yes,
the
Asim
guy
Munir.
before him, General Bajwa, from? Where is
Yes,
Bajwa?
he was also Punjabi. Bajwa
Exactly,
Zard.
that's what I'm saying. Because I know General Bajwa is
Yeah, but
also.
Musharraf wasn't Punjabi. He ran as a president. Sorry, he in his uniform. He served the country in his uniform, where he was like straddling the line of dictatorship and democracy. Funny, but he was an Urdu speaking person. But nobody blames the entire Urdu speaking population, which makes a minority in Pakistan. And same with, if we talk about Ayub Khan, who sold the made the water treaty with India, which
Yeah.
is so bad for
So, so,
Punjab.
so you're referring to General Ayub Khan, who was the leader during I think, the war with
Like,
India. This was
yes,
was this the
60s.
is it what's the name of the war again? Was this in the 70s?
No, this is before that. It's like from 50s to 60s
65.
onwards. Yes, yes. So these guys have not been Punjabi. They weren't Punjabi. Nobody blames their ethnicity or the people sharing the same ethnic background. But the problem we have is like, just because by a number, because yes, there's 120 million of us in the entire Pakistan, we are the majority. So we
Yeah,
are
so
going.
it's Pakhtun. I just saw him. It's Pakhtun.
Yes, he's Pashtun and Pakhtun. and but nobody blames Pashtun, and Pashtuns have had the history of doing genocide in KPK, where they killed the indigenous Hindko speaking Punjabis that are indigenous people of the area in Peshawar. But nobody blames all the Pashtuns. So we have got a really sick mindset back home, where we like to drag every Punjabi just because there are a few bad apples. Whereas bad apples are in every community and ethnicity. So most of my work is basically to, tether them together, build bridges, and geopolitics play a huge role in all of this. So when you were talking about, Asim Munir and India and all that, so India is sponsoring insurgency in Balochistan.
Yeah, I saw that. Is it the Baloch Liberation Army or the Baloch
So,
Liberation?
not just that, they're funding activists. They're funding what you call
I
journalists. Yes, so they're funding journalists.
so
They're
so
funding
can,
activists.
yeah, can you, because for the purpose of those of them listening, so Balochistan is the biggest province in Pakistan by landmass.
Yes,
It's on the border with Iran and I think
yes,
Afghanistan.
yes,
No,
yes,
exactly, which is a corridor to Central Asia. The
yes.
port of Balochistan now, I think the Chinese invested a lot in building that port,
Gwadar, yes,
which is also key to their One Belt One Road initiative and the corridor with Iran. And the Iranians
yes,
are also having a problem with some rebellion, Baloch rebellion on their own border. So you guys have a lot in common. But going back to the Baloch resistance and rebellion, what are the groups there that are fighting against the Indian government? What are they seeking? And lastly, I remember this guy called Nawab Akbar Bhutto.
yeah, Booty.
The time Nawab Akbar Bhutto died, there were accusations that Pervez Musharraf had played a
Yes.
role in this. Can you give us an understanding about the Baloch people?
So I will give you a really a summarized version of it because it's really complicated, but it goes back to colonial times where the British, they would come in and install like a system. They dismantle the indigenous system of law and order, and they perpetuate this system which believes in classism. And people with money have a say in how things are done rather than proper democracy. So they kind of strengthen that system. Then a lot of Pashtun immigration happened because they used the Baloch land to fund their wars, like Anglo-Afghan wars.
Yes.
So, and then they were building roads and infrastructure only in areas where Pashtuns were living. So Balochistan is Balochi people are a mix of Kurds, Pashtuns, and actual Brahvis. Indigenous people of Balochistan are actually Brahvis, and they are tribal. So that's basically, so what happened is that when, you spoke about Gwadar, it's really important to know, a lot of Pakistanis even don't know about that Gwadar was not part of Balochistan. It was bought by a Punjabi guy from the Prince of Oman, and it is now the property of the country. So for anybody to have any claim, it should be Punjabis because they paid their own money, not government money. It was
Yes.
bought by their own pockets, but they donated it for the betterment of the country. Whereas they say, "Oh, we want to work, we want to do this." You don't have the infrastructure. Well, you don't even have the right kind of people. So obviously, there are going to be migrations from other parts of the country to work on the project, which is fine. So there are a lot of like tall tales being told on all ends, where the Baloch people are being told sold lies, where they're not told the actual story. So there's a lot of corruption and miscommunication between the people that are responsible for what is happening and people that are actually at the receiving end. And India has done this when Bangladesh happened. So India has sponsored insurgency, unrest in the country in 1971. They were pretty
Yeah.
successful in it. And yes, there was this language issue as well, but a lot of it is exaggerated by our own, unfortunately, liberal community from Pakistan, which do not understand ground. It's not black or white. There was a lot of gray. So same thing they're trying to do with Balochistan is that they are sponsoring insurgency. They are BLA leaders who have openly asked for support from Modi.
Yeah.
It's on record. They like, please do not talk to us. Just give us weapons and money. So, so now the problem is that they are trying to create an issue based on provincial ethnicity, which I don't believe, because Pakistan in its entirety is Indus Valley civilization. It was known as Sapta Sandhu, or land of five rivers, or seven. It used to be seven rivers, and shrunk to five. And all these people from Balochistan to Sindh to Punjab to even KPK, Hazarewal, they all are genetic brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So they're all from the same sort of civilization.
So
Uh,
so Pakistan basically is a civilizational state. I think there's a particular work by an American author, I don't know, of Chinese origin, that talked about the civilizational state. It's a different topic for another day.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but what is the interest of India in Balochistan? And again, you spoke about the whole activity in the KPK. Why is the KPK, which is they call it Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which used to be the Northwest Frontier Province,
Yes.
so volatile? Even after the end of the war in Afghanistan, I know it was used as a corridor, for the trade routes going all the way to, to places like Tajikistan and Central
Yes.
Asia, all the way to the Caspian Sea. It's yeah, it has always been an important hub and gateway, but basically. Then they used to call that place the Khyber Pass.
Yes, the area has always been volatile as far as history goes back because of Afghanistan, and because and there, because Afghanistan, problem with Afghanistan is the people that are the ruling body are not actually the indigenous people there as well. So it's the same thing that foreign populations or colonizers, because I don't just think that it's the English people that colonize. We've all been colonized by different races at different times. So it's not just the English people or Europeans that have colonized us. So they've been through that, and then there have been like reigns of Duranis and Abdalis that would come and attack Punjab and Kashmir and wreak all sort of havoc. And they went as far as south of Punjab, and it was only up until 1818, I think, that we were able to free Punjab from their shackles. They would leave their representatives behind, even if they weren't able to oversee the area themselves. So that area has always been a hotbed. It's because it's a struggle because that area is basically a property of the people of Indus Valley civilization. So it's Punjab. Pashtuns migrated over the years, started settling there, completely changed the language dynamics. It used to be Hindko, but now you rarely hear anybody speak Hindko in Peshawar. It is
Yeah.
Pashto. But the thing is that we can't call them out. Yes, they are at the receiving end of a lot of atrocities as well. But let's not forget what they have done in the past. They have been implicit in genocide of many communities. For instance, in Balochistan, genocide of Hazara community, which were
Yeah.
fleeing persecution in Afghanistan. So they poor Hazaras fleeing persecution in Afghanistan, and they are indigenous to Afghanistan. They
Yeah.
come to Balochistan and then they meet the same kind of crappy people who are killing them.
But don't you have the same Hazaras facing the same problem in Iran?
Yes, I mean Hazaras are like being persecuted everywhere, but the problem is that in Pakistan, what we should do is like we should not blame everybody. What's happening right now is like it's very reactionary. So yeah, I'm talking about domestic politics, not international politics. Domestic politics at the moment is a match of pull and tug, where every political party is trying to get a bigger part of the stake. So Punjab is the most successful province, owing to the fact that it grows a lot of food, feeds the
Why?
entire country.
Why is it because of the Indus River? Is it because of the population tend to stay along the
Well, it's the land. It's very fertile. It's always been responsible for
feeding?
farming and feeding. And then not just that, the people, Punjabi people, are actually the ones that are paying taxes and paying in remittance. So even if they go abroad, they send back lots of remittance. They also pay their bills, taxes. Whereas in KPK, they rarely pay bills. They steal and things like electricity and stuff. Even in Sindh, that happens. So they
Oh,
have
I,
been
I, I thought I thought Sindh was the second most prosperous province in Pakistan after.
Yeah, it is, but but then it's like,
No,
what are you
because
comparing
Sindh,
it with?
Sindh is where you have the port of Karachi, isn't it?
Yes, yes, exactly. So it's Karachi is quite prosperous, but not the rest of the Sindh. So Karachi is the activity hub, it's also media hub, it's trade, commerce, everything. But even within Karachi, the community that migrated during 1947, today happens to be 14th August, that community feels that they now somehow owns the area, and that the Sindhis should be ousted, or that Karachi should be separated from Sindh, and it should be like, so everywhere it's a, like, a war, whereas the actual problem is corruption within the political parties, not having transparency, and then obviously we are bordered by this a bully giant, which is India.
India, yes.
If it's not Kashmir, if it's Balochistan, it's Punjab, it's just, even they are not keeping their own people happy. For instance, if anybody revolts, and this is the Modi government, they have the BJP. If anybody
Yeah,
tries to speak sense, they shut him down, particularly
yeah.
Punjabis. They call them
And
Khalistani.
and,
Like, so
and the BJP runs on the idea of Hindutva. Yeah, you spoke about the Khalistan movement. Again, I don't want to overburden you with a lot of topics, but I'm more
it
interested
is
in
all linked,
understanding.
unfortunately. It is all linked. It is all linked, and it has always been the case that the area, just because it happened to be one of the most fertile regions in the area, everybody wants a piece of it. It's the cake that everybody wants. So it
Yeah,
is all linked as well. But the problem is, just like anywhere in Africa, Americas, anywhere, that it's the indigenous people that are suffering. Like, for instance, this guy in the comment section talking about Pashtuns were there before anyone. Before who? Before who? Pashtuns are not indigenous to the area. They are living in Pakistan. You are migrants, and we've been very nice to you. So we hope to be receiving the same kind of kindness, which we don't. You have been implicit in genocide of Hindko speaking people, Hazaras, and not just that, even within Punjab, implicit in drug mafia, land grabbing, kicking people out of their home. So, but then still, we are not going to blame the entire race for some bad apples. Although there are not some bad apples, there are quite a few, but that's
yeah.
not my thing. That's not what I believe in. I think that if
Yeah,
you,
one other fundamental question I want to ask you is, people on the outside are saying, I mean, look at Pakistan. Isn't that hypocrisy for Pakistan to be accusing India of supporting like the BLA and other groups in Balochistan, when Pakistan have stated clearly and outrightly that they have a policy of bleeding India with 1,000 cuts, and supported groups like Harakat al-Mujahideen and
yeah,
the
they've
likes of
both been,
and the
yeah.
likes of Hafez Saeed that leads Lashkar-e-Taiba.
Yeah, but they've both been doing it. It's not just that India was always a very sweetie cutie pie. It was never the case. So they've both been doing it. And Pakistani, I don't think I've never come across any Pakistani politician or state person that denies this. They all agree that yes, we have a past, we have a gory past, we have been, but then we were apparently left with no choice. That's what they say. We were too young to comment on that, or I tried when I was in my teenager. I protested against Musharraf, Pervez Musharraf. I wanted him to be ousted for what he did, and it was similar to what happened in 1984 in Harmandir Sahib Gurdwara in Amritsar, where innocent civilians were killed and targeted, and then they were raped, and all hell broke loose. So similar sort of stuff Pervez Musharraf did in, I think it was 2007 or 8, and where he attacked Lal Mosque, Lal Masjid. There was a known terrorist hiding there, by the way, so it's different to what happened in Harmandir Sahib. In Harmandir Sahib, the guy they were after, they arrested him a couple of times, but that guy never could be proven guilty. So he
Yeah.
was, but then they still, accused him, no evidence, and they attacked and killed a lot of innocent people. In Lal Masjid, although Musharraf was targeting a known, well-known terrorist, he was hiding behind human shield. So they were like women and children.
Who are you?
And they
Who exactly are you referring to? Are you referring to Ilyas Kashmiri? Because I know of one Ilyas Kashmiri that was in was Azad Kashmir or Jujit Baltistan. You know, he was very prominent there until I think he was later killed or something like that. Do you know about this individual called
No,
Ilyas?
I have heard his name, but the guy I'm talking about is not Ilyas Kashmiri. I think it's somebody else. I don't remember. I need to have to look up his name. So this is the guy who ran away in the end wearing a burqa. Do you know this story? It's a really famous story.
Yeah.
So after getting all those innocent people killed, he tried to abscond in a burqa. So the problem is nobody has any issues with Musharraf targeting a known terrorist. We were all with him, but the point is how he got so many innocent civilians killed. That's when Musharraf got into hot waters.
Yeah.
So that's how he got in hot waters. So the thing
Yeah,
is that
and by the way, a lot of Pakistanis, I hear them, they're not really complimentary about Pervez Musharraf. They blame him for a lot of. By the way, during the reign of Pervez Musharraf, there was economic prosperity in Pakistan.
he was good. He was good in a lot of things.
Yeah, let me just finish this point quickly. He had a lot of challenges, and this was when the Americans came to Afghanistan. So there was this interview he did when people were like, oh, why did you allow the Americans to use Pakistan as a launching base? Well, you need to understand the border between Pakistan. You talked about Peshawar. Most of the people that were during the initial stages of the attack, they were all running to Peshawar. They were all coming to the KPK and the tribal areas, which is the land that the Pashtun have been moving in and out. They don't recognize the borders. They see the borders as arbitrary, as created by the Europeans and so on and so forth. So Pakistan had enormous burden on it. And secondly, you also know about the famous incident when the DGISI, claimed to have received a call from Richard Armitage, who was the CIA director at that time under Bush, and threatened that if Pakistan does not fall in line, that the Americans will bomb Pakistan back to the dark ages. And on top of that as well, you have a lot of problems in Pakistan itself, including the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan and other groups, and also the threat that India was willing to give America an outlet to bomb Afghanistan. And finally, you can say again, it's the issue with Nawab Bhutto, the death of Benazir Bhutto, which I don't blame him directly for it. So I don't know when the whole stuff is coming about Pervez Musharraf, and look at what the other politicians and people in power have done after Pervez Musharraf.
My question, so the my no no you got everything right. The thing is that people are not black or white; they're people. So they will do some good things, and nobody is infallible, especially a dictator. So a
Yeah,
dictator that is demolishing democracy, and let's not forget what he did in Kargil.
yeah. The Kargil during the
Musharraf,
Kargil war, they said he
yeah,
gave it up. Is it true that he gave it up?
so basically, Musharraf was trying to force the Air Force to join
Oh,
him. He was not, he was just chief of army staff, and he wasn't, the marshal. Asim Munir has been promoted to that. If he was that, then he wouldn't need permission for the air marshal to send the troops. So basically, he was doing quite well going into the territory, but then because the sitting prime minister, didn't agree to this, he didn't want this.
and who was the prime minister at that time? Is it
Nawaz Sharif.
Nawaz Sharif? Yeah, Nawaz
Yeah,
Sharif was the one he removed, and after he left, Nawaz Sharif came back. And
yeah. So so
and Asif Ali Zadari was he in and around the government or came in after
well,
Musharraf?
Asif Ali Zardari has also been arrested. He's been in jail for a really long
And
time
this is
after being
this is the husband of the former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto.
Benazir's after Benazir's assassination. It was Asif Ali Zardari who came into power. PPP came
No, no,
into power.
I'm saying Asif Zadari is the widower of
Yes,
Benazir Bhutto. Yes, that's what I wanted to say because there was a point in time where there was this, whole corruption scandal
yes.
against both of them linked to a Swiss company called SGS and Cotecna.
Well, everybody is corrupt. Nobody is exempt from even you look at Trump administration, any administration, Tories. It's just that in our part of the world, we somehow believe that it is only the corruption that's causing this. We completely ignore geopolitics. We completely ignore the influence of geopolitics that shapes our everyday life of an average person. Because for some reason we think, oh, if we stop, wait, everybody's doing corruption. Europeans are doing it. America is doing it. Everybody's doing it. You should see the state of roads in Chicago. Forget Chicago. Look at the state of people in San Francisco. The number of homeless people that sleep
That's
on
in
the
California,
street.
right?
Yes, that's in California. So just see the state of people. It's the world power, whatsoever you call it. So corruption's everywhere, and it's never the only reason for a country to not do well. There are other factors. There is a hegemony, and post-colonial world order exists, and it affects each one of us. Leanne is saying California is crazy, but it's so beautiful though, Leanne. California is gorgeous. I just love San Francisco, and I love how
Yeah,
the
San Francisco is like the Bay Area. Is it close to the to the sea?
yeah, and it's just beautiful. But I really feel sad for the people that are just trying to live their lives and like literally living on trees, walking around with garbage bags with their belongings
Really?
in garbage. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, this is what I thought. Basically, there's this stereotype that Africans are somehow still in the dark ages and living on trees and eating elephants and so on and so forth. So people living on trees in America.
People don't understand how well off and well-to-do Africans can be, and most of the Africa would have been like that if it wasn't the European colonizers poking their noses where it doesn't belong. Africa is feeding the entire world where they produce, but it's just it's the same thing with Punjab and Sindh or even in India. The places which are feeding the rest of the world are actually suffering the most.
Yeah. One quick quote from the former DGISI before we conclude the
DGISI or
conversation.
DGISPR?
DG, former Director General of the Inter-Service Intelligence.
Okay,
His,
okay,
yeah, his name is Lieutenant General Assad Durrani.
okay.
When they asked him the question about America partnership with Pakistan in the fight against terrorism, and then Pakistan supporting the TTP, he said, "Yeah, states play double games." And the quote is, "If you can't ride two horses, you have no business being in a circus." Yeah, and he said that yeah, Pakistan has to survive. It's about survival, and he acknowledged that the states have been supporting some of these groups as well that have for different reasons in Afghanistan and against India. And
Sad.
one
Yes.
other question I want to ask you is in response to the blasphemy laws in
Hmm.
Punjab. Salman Taseer, is that his name? Remember the incident?
Yes. Yes.
And why is this blasphemy law weaponized against minorities only? Against
Yes.
Hazaras, against Shia minority, and so on and so forth.
Not Shia minorities per se. Blasphemy law is often used against. It was used against Mishal Khan as well. He was a Muslim. There is this another guy who was sitting in waiting for gallows. He's also Muslim. So it's not just the
Minorities.
minorities. There were like two lynch mob lynching happens with Muslims as well. So it's just anybody they have to settle personal vendetta with, they use this law. There was this a woman who was in behind the bars for so long, this Christian lady, and basically it started off. So blasphemy law, let's give a little bit of history. It's a colonial law. It did not exist in the caliphate. The Ottoman Caliphate, they did not have any blasphemy law. Islam is a bit iffy about it as well. Um, there is no consensus on how to deal with it. But having somebody killed without getting proper justice is definitely a no-no. So this law was implemented during the time of British Raj. That was to keep people from different religions under control. Because what
Yeah.
was happening, that they will have a spout and they'll be like, oh, this Muslim, this Hindu, this Sikh, this and that. This wasn't the case in Punjab, though Punjab was always very harmonious. It especially since Maharaja Ranjit Singh's time, Punjab was really happy. It was always a Muslim majority. They didn't have any issues with Hindu, Sikhs. It was never about religion in Punjab, right? So because India is such a big territory and there has been mixed population, and mind you, it was not just the religion. A lot of people converting to Islam and Sikhi were lower caste Hindus.
Yeah.
So it was a mixed bag of a mixed bag where religion would was always used as a facade, but it was always somebody from a low caste, saying something. So English people tried to keep everybody under control, so they introduced this law, which for some reason we kept on and we hung on to. It is an English colonial law, and the Salman Taseer called this law the Black Law. Whereas this delusional guy who basically murdered him, he was his bodyguard. He said, "Oh, he's disrespecting the Prophet by calling the law that protects his sort of, in his mind, sanctity, black law." Whereas that's all, that's all about perception and understanding. So this is a very dangerous law. It is scary.
Yeah, but the point is not about the guy that murdered Salman Taseer. It's a reaction from ordinary Pakistan. We're calling him a hero and glorifying and demonstrating.
That is where you spoke about some organizations, the terrorist
Yeah,
hubs.
Harakat al Mujahideen
Right,
and
yeah. So what the state do is when they're not using these people to protect the country, because I don't know if you had any military personnel in your family or yourself had an experience, because I had a lot of my family serve in military. So what happens is when the country is smaller, it has to be offensive to protect its boundaries and borders. So Pakistan, when they weren't utilizing these people to have this sort of a barrier with India, they use it to control and curb the political unrest or cause political unrest in the country. So these people have two tasks: to cause issues, in other people's countries, and cause issues within the country. For instance, if there is like some kind of a political party which is giving state which is challenging the state, that's when they will use them. So over the years, since Ziaul Haq, actually I wouldn't just blame Ziaul Haq, this started during the time of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto,
so
when he
yeah.
declared all Ahmadis kafir,
Yeah,
non-Muslim.
but by the way, it's good you pointed out that, because when Zial Haq hung Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, a lot of people were saying, "Oh well, he was a good guy," but the guy did a lot of terrible things as well. Even the
Oh my God,
Pakistani
he
nuclear
was the
program,
worst.
it was during the time of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto.
Yes, everything happened during the time of, everything bad happened during the time of, and he was groomed by Ayub Khan. So all of these people, these state people that they say, "Oh, we are fighting against the state," and these politicians or their, people that come after them say, "Oh, we're fine." But your ancestors were groomed by the so-called the same very state. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto declared all Ahmadi Muslims kafir in the constitution. So he started this. He was the prototype. He was the first person to start this religious intolerance, where within the Muslims you were not happy with how some Muslims were interpreting Islam, right? So this started then. Then he sold the waters, did the Indus Water Treaty in such a bad way that the entire country is suffering. Not just our country, even Indian Punjabis are suffering. So he was responsible for that. He was responsible with the debacle with Bangladesh. So he is
Yeah,
basically the root of
basically
all
empowered. I
evil.
think is it the Awami League was the political movement in Bangladesh at that time, led by Majibur Rahman. You know this
Yes,
guy,
yes,
Majibur
yes,
Rahman. Yeah,
yes.
Maja, you should. I, what would I say? Yeah, I know a bit of these things, and
You don't
I
know,
hope I'm
bit.
able
You
to
know a
impress
lot
you.
more than average Pakistani. You know a lot more than an average Pakistani. This is amazing. Like how you're able to pinpoint the names and even the time.
Yeah,
It's
my
just
my my friend Appel is not impressed. She doesn't. She thinks I don't know that much.
who, who.
Hey, my friend Appel, she thinks I don't know that much. She's not impressed.
I am very impressed. No,
Yeah.
the thing is that this is just amazing how, because obviously this is not the only politics that you're involved in. You're
No, no,
involved
no,
in
no, no. Africa and Europe. I know a lot about Eurasian politics a lot. And but the one I can put my hand down on the ground is Africa, because it's not just about understanding. I've been directly on the field working with some organizations, relations to conflict and peace in the region. I did some theoretical field, some field work with MINUSMA, is the
Yes.
in Mali, and the sister was up here and we're talking about the Sahel. But anytime I talk about Africa, I'm very exercised about it because I feel I have a
Yes.
lot more in my head and I have to throw everything out. But again, South
Yes.
Asia, the reason I picked interest in South Asia is because of the war in Afghanistan, the
Yes.
role of Pakistan and the relations with India, the independence of Bangladesh, the One Belt One Road Initiative corridor. There's an article of mine in relations to this topic, which is online.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also the activities in Xinjiang province and
Yeah.
the struggle between India and China over Ladakh. So there are a whole lot of problems, a whole lot of issues. But what I try
Yes.
to do is I try to piece the puzzle. Basically, they pick one from here, one from there, and try to make the connection.
Don't
Because
you
again,
feel, sorry I'm interrupting you, Sav, because I will need to go soon, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to ask, comment